Celina, thank you. Our first question is about disinformation. Disinformation has been a tool of authoritarianism. How do you fight disinformation without losing freedom of speech?
Yeah. So the difference between mis and disinformation is intent, right? Misinformation is when you say something not knowing what's right, and so it's a mistake. Disinformation is when you intentionally do it. And so I think that speaking up is critical. And it can be scary because there seems like there are threats when you do. But the more people who speak up, the less likely we will be persecuted for doing so. So I would say continue to speak up. Grab a friend and speak up together. It always helps when there's more than one.
Thank you. We have two questions about the League reaching out to different types of voters. And this one says, how is the League reaching young women, young voters, whose voices are crucial to creating our next generation of democracy?
So we're reaching out in a few ways. We are on college campuses, getting young women who are about to matriculate into their career. We are also doing campaigns on social media to reach audiences beyond what we currently have. And we're also engaging with sororities and fraternities. Well, I'll say sororities because that's the women's side of it. Sororities who are already active and just also need a place to continue that activism and have a place to land. So there's a few places that we're working to gather women.
Thank you. This next online listener says, the League remains avowedly nonpartisan, but I perceive it as aligning with the left. Do you have right-of-center members, and how do you connect with them?
Oh, yeah. We have members who are, well, we don't ask, so I can't say for sure. But being in different communities, especially in the South and Midwest and such, we have members who are all political stripes. And one thing I have to say is that the League has often had our positions for multiple decades. And so I see ourselves as like this in the sand, our mark in the sand. But politics moves. You know, the political climate moves from left to right. So there are sometimes when we seem more left and sometimes when we seem more right. We were accused of that in the 60s and 70s, of being the opposite. So it's going to change, but we don't.
This listener says, left or right, how do we energize the about 50% of eligible voters who don't care enough to vote?
I think we have to ask them what their pain is. Like I was talking to young people just before the election in Arizona and Nevada, and one of the things that they repeatedly said is, nobody cares about me. And I was like, well, what do you care about? What's your pain point? And it's things like, I can't afford rent. I have to have like 6 roommates. I'm like, dang, that's a lot. We had like 2 or 3 back in the day. But we have to talk to people, whether they're young people or otherwise, to find out where their pain is. And oftentimes when we can identify where their pain is, we can also say, here's the person who's in charge of making decisions around that. We have to be able to connect it back to voting and to power.
So let's take a few questions on the context of the League and the future. This person asks, what is the status of the League today? Can you tell us a little bit more about members and legal victories?
Oh, yeah. Fortunately, I was chief counsel before being CEO, so I do know what we've won recently. But yes, so the League took on litigation in a different way starting in 2018 when I joined the League. We were mostly doing amicus briefs, and when I came on, I saw this huge opportunity for the League to hold a stronger position in litigation. And that was the role of plaintiff and intervener. And so we started filing cases as plaintiff and intervener. And I know that in 2021, right as I was transitioning the work to another leader, we had an 80% win rate and brought about 63 cases that year. So that's not bad, right? That's not bad. What was the other part of the question? You said litigation and membership, right? Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that we have been working for many years to do is have a way for people to join at all levels. And so this year we launched a new membership database system that allows people to join online, no matter where you are. And so when you join online, it will attach you to your local league, your state league, and the national league. And so in just the first 4 months of launching that system since February, we had 10,000 new members. This is the largest membership growth we have had in decades. And it's not slowing down. People want something to do. They want something to plug into. They want to be able to act. And for many people, especially like people who are part of federal government, who may have lost their jobs, not sure if they're going back or what have you, they still want to be able to do nonpartisan work. And so the League welcomes people who especially want to do nonpartisan work because we are a safe place to do that. So 10,000 members strong and much bigger by, I think, this time next year.
Celina, I'm seeing questions come in that show both interest and concern about how the League will galvanize different types of groups to broaden the mission toward democracy. You already spoke to those right of center and young voters, and some of the other questions say, what about LGBTQ+? What about men? How are you going to broaden the force of the League?
Yeah, so the League is about issues, and anyone who aligns with our issues, transparent redistricting, accountability in campaign finance, transparency in laws, then you are welcome here. I don't care what you look like, how you identify. We need every single person who aligns with our values and our issues to join us. And so I would say we continue to do that. We have men as a part of our organization. We also, of course, have folks who don't identify as female or male.
In the same way people are interested in how to galvanize different groups to move forward, there are also questions about partnerships that will make the effort stronger. This person says, I'm concerned about the splintering of activist groups. What is the relationship between the League and, for example, Indivisible, Mobilize, Women's March? Is there a way to work in partnership?
Oh yeah, we work in partnership all the time. So we have partnered with Mobilize. That is, for some of our organizing actions, that is the system that we have used, especially for like the King's Rally and the Light for Democracy and things like that. We were part of that. But the League has, I would say on the litigation front, we have a list of about 100 law firms that partner with us to bring this litigation. We can't do that on our own, so that's our partners. But in the democracy space, we also have partners that may navigate their nonpartisanship a little differently. But when we're thinking about things from the event space, it's about, do we all agree on what we're trying to accomplish? Not how you navigate your nonpartisanship, but can we all agree that this issue is bad, whether that's people being swept off the streets, whether that's people having access to health care, or cuts not being made to Medicaid. And so we align around values and issues as opposed to how they navigate it, because we want to be as expansive as possible, but also maintain how we navigate nonpartisanship.
And this listener is concerned about how young can we start? They say one of the tenets of democracy is the need to have an educated population. Does the League have action strategies to reinstitute civics program in schools?
So there are leagues around the country who have a plug-in to civics already. But I want to say we also are partnered with Girl Scouts. Are there any Girl Scouts in the room? Yes, I knew there would be. I was a brownie, but that's okay. We'll get there. But anyway, I think that partnership is really important because knowing what young people want and what they're striving for, and these are really, like when I talk to young people, especially like Girl Scouts folks, I was meeting with the greater Los Angeles area Girl Scout CEO, and these young women are so talented. Like, they speak like us, which is like wild. But yeah, they're so smart, and so we want to create a pipeline because understanding that, Girl Scouts may end at a particular time, we want to make a more close mentorship opportunity between the League, Girl Scouts, and other young civics organizations so that we can continue and expand.
Celina, for our final question, we are going to ask you to leave us with some thoughts about moving forward. Our live listener says, I'd love to be more of a downpour than a drop, but I feel hopeless and helpless. Can you provide some specific examples of what actions I might take when I return to my home community to make a difference?
Okay, so first I want to say that is what it's intentional. The barrage of information, the barrage of things coming out of the White House and government in general, it is meant to overwhelm us to the point of stopping us. And that's why it is so critical that we take a step. You don't have to save the world, you just have to take a step. And so if you join the League, or I'm sure there are other organizations as well, we have these micro campaigns a part of the Unite and Rise. So every 90 days, we're giving a set of actions that people can take, whether that's sending a letter, showing up somewhere, or doing a postcard party. We want to create a menu of options for people to plug in. So I want people to understand, you don't have to take this grand, big step. It's just one step as often as you can, and that is what makes the difference. So pause, shake that crap off, and find a step that you can take.
Please join me in thanking Celina Stewrt.
Thank you.